A brand new season of the GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, begins right here. Welcome to Imola, a new venue for World Challenge Europe with a hugely impressive entry and teams and drivers alike all keen to go racing after the enforced delay to the season. Last year, Lamborghini cleaned up, specifically the Orange One FFF racing team Lamborghini of Andrea Caldarelli, winning sprint and endurance titles, and this season the squad is back. Very much the benchmark Lamborghini team. Caldarelli is joined by his fellow champion of 2019 Marco Mappelli and Super Trofeo champion and GT World Challenge Asia champion Dennis Lind is back with the team, having missed the season closer last year due to illness. With speed, experience and a well-drilled team behind them, expect these drivers to be hard to beat once again this year.
This year, of course, it's a lot of pressure for us after a very successful 2019, but it's always like this when you go racing in a such high-level championship. There is pressure all the time, but it's going to be a very difficult season, but we are ready to fight for the championship again. It's going to be really, really fun.
But against Lamborghini comes another famous Italian brand. Against the Raging Bulls come plenty of prancing horses. Step forward, Ferrari's 488 GT3. AF Corsa has always been the top squad in Ferrari circles and has an impressive roster of drivers across its myriad teams this season. In number 51, British ace James Collado shares with Alessandro Pierguidi and quick young Dane Nicholas Nielsen, while in 72, ex-F1 racer Sergei Sorokin shares with the always rapid Davide Rigon and Miguel Molina. It's all change at Mercedes-AMG for 2020. Out goes Black Falcon, and in comes Haupt Racing, Hubert Haupt's eponymous team. Sean Breslin moves from Black Falcon to oversee it all, and Haupt has signed up a mega entry in the pro car of Vincent Abril, Luca Stolz and Maro Engel. Stolz and Engel have been regular title fighters these last few seasons, and should be so again this year. But we're not done yet. Throw McLaren into the mix with two rival teams, both offering quality lineups. 59 Racing pits British ace Ben Barnicoat with Martin Kodrich and Lewis Williamson, while rival Optimum Motorsport puts Oliver Wilkinson with Joe Osborne and Endurance Cup champion Rob Bell.
It's fantastic to be back. Brilliant to be racing again after obviously a very difficult period. So we're all absolutely delighted to be here in the sunshine. Brilliant to be at Imola, actually, old school circuit, which is something that all of us enjoy driving around. We've tested a bit, we seem to be okay, and the race is going to be extraordinarily tough. This series is one of the best in the world, and everyone's raring to go, everyone's fast, and we hope to be in the mix.
From GT World Challenge America comes K-Pax Racing and its Bentley Continental GT3s. Jules Gounon and Maxime Soulet crew one car with Rodrigo Baptista, while the indefatigable Andy Soucek, a great Bentley ambassador these last seasons, is joined by Jordan Pepper and another GT star, Alvaro Parente.
The Bentley Continental GT3, look, it's a big car, we all know that, but it's light on its feet. And with someone like Alvaro Parente in particular, who's a multiple winner in multiple brands, that's the Bentley I'm going to say keep your eye on this weekend.
No GT grid should be without Porsche. In the GPX racing cars, with Targa Florio retro liveries, are Patrick Pilet, Mathieu Jaminet and Matt Campbell, while Romain Dumas and Thomas Preining share the second car with SRO Esports champion and Haas F1 tester, Louis Dalatraz.
It's great to be back with GPX racing in the championship. Super happy. I mean, it's been a long break and everyone's very motivated. We have a clear goal, is winning, and have a good lineup with my teammates, so super excited and can't wait to go for it.
What's left to say about Porsche that hasn't been said already? The 911 GT3R, well, I would call it venerable. Like, it's only been in manufacture for 56 years, and it still won Spa 24 Hours last year, and it went on to win the final major event of the season in Kyalami, the 9 Hours. Factory drivers, a car that is so well sorted, and of course you've got that wonderful Teutonic mentality and attitude. We will do it our way, and we will win.
And then there is Audi. Hordes of Audis. WRT has been the top dog in Audi terms for many seasons, so can the Belgian team retain its mantle in 2020? Mirko Portalotti defects from Lamborghini to head one car with Kelvin van der Linde and Mathieu Vazivière, who moves from Aston Martin, while Christopher Mies and Dries Vanthoor share a second car with the ever-improving Charles Weers.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Obviously, it's been a long wait. It's been a really strange year, unfortunately. So it's good to be back in a paddock. It's good to be back racing. We can't wait to start again. And it's also great to be back racing in Italy on a fantastic track such as IMOLA. New challenges for me with Audi this year and Team WRT. So I'm really looking forward to not only to the weekend, but obviously to the whole season. And great to be back with you guys in this fantastic championship.
And in fairness, those are just some of the highlights in the entry. There are plenty of new drivers, some new teams, and a top quality entry list. Welcome to GT World Challenge Europe, and welcome to a who's who of GT racing. So the grid starting to form here at Imola. Finally, we can go racing in the GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS. The first race of the year. It's the first round of the Endurance Cup. It's a new venue. FIA GT last here 2005 as an SRO connection as the promoter of GT World Challenge Europe. We've got new drivers, we've got new teams, we have got, of course, new protocols in place. And we are looking forward to what promises to be an excellent race to kick off the championship, which will then go to Misano, then to the Nürburgring, to Manicourt, to Zandvoort, to Barcelona. The blue ribbon round is the Total 24 Hours of Spa, and it will finish at Paul Ricard in mid-November. So 8 events across endurance and sprint. David Addison and John Watson looking forward to 3 hours of all-action GT racing, John, at a proper old-school circuit.
Fantastic. I love Imola. I came here first, 1972. The circuit was slightly different then. It was a much more free-flowing circuit. A chicane, well, people hadn't even talked about chicanes, let alone implemented the chicanes. What we're going to see here today, I hope, will be another cracking round of 3-hour endurance racing. Here is now the current layout of the Imola circuit. 4.9 kilometers, 21 turns. Still the basic layout of the circuit. What I do like is the exit of Ravazza, which is the last corner on the circuit before you come start, finish straight. They've deleted what was the final chicane, so now it's a run flat out from Ravazza all the way down to the chicane at Tamburello.
Now, it is Fred Verviche on pole position. Lining up alongside is James Collado, Raffaele Marciello and Matt Campbell for Mercedes and Porsche on the second row of the grid. The third row, Mathieu Vazivière starts Audi 31 and Mauro Engel will be alongside him in the number 4 Haupt Racing Team Mercedes. 7th on the grid is where you find Timothy Bure, looking very strong yesterday in the Tech 1 Racing Lexus, and Rodrigo Baptista is the best of the Bentley boys, going from 8th. Miguel Molina starts 9th in the SMP Racing Ferrari alongside Christian Engelhardt, going back to Porsche for this year. This is going to be fantastic. Alain Adon, the race director, will give the call if he's happy with everybody's position in this Noah's Ark 2x2 formation then as they rumble their way up towards the timing line, ready for 3 hours of racing at Imola. When the lights change, we will be in business as that long, fast run down towards the Tamburello. The lights on red change now. We go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action. It's go. A great start by the Audi of Fred Verviche. He will lead on the run down to Tamburello, but can he hang on in there on the inside line? Yes is the answer, but only just. James Collado is next and off the road there. Look, it's the Mercedes number 4 being squeezed out wide. Mauro Engel is off. He's the only one that is off. Everybody else comes pouring through. He's back on the racetrack. That could have been a whole lot worse. Tamburello was always going to be a pinch point. Surprisingly, only one in strife. Everybody else gets away with it. Yes, there's a lot of ducking and weaving as people try and go for position now. Through Villeneuve, on towards Tosa. Others running out wide, just getting away with it as they skim the curb. But take a deep breath. Through Tosa, for the first time they will come. Climb the hill. You see Bentley number 3 of Rodrigo Baptista being forced out wide on the outside line. Fred Verviche leads the way. The yellow Mercedes of Maxi Buchner's off the road and back on again. As predicted, it's all kicked off at the start.
Well, that's what 46 car grid looks like on a 4.9 kilometre circuit. The lead cars were exiting the Villeneuve chicane while the tail of the field was just coming through the end of the Tamburello chicane. So there's about almost a 600 metre spread of cars in the space of half a lap. Now down into Acqua Minerale. Tricky corner, particularly the second part of the corner. But look, coming up into Variante, the Mercedes all over the back of James Collado and the Ferrari. Just take it easy again. This part of the circuit, a lot of track limit of use. You can see cars just jumping on the first part of the chicane, the turn right, then turn left, down the hill into Ravazza, and Mercedes all over the back of the Ferrari.
That's Marciello having a go at James Collado, and then number 54, Christian Engelhardt, getting up the inside of Mathieu Vezivier. Is he? Not quite. Mathieu Vezivier might be new to Audi, but he knows how to defend nonetheless. Comes up to complete lap number 1 here. 3 hours of racing. The opening round of the GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS. The first Endurance Cup race of the year. It's been a long time coming, but a 46-strong entry. Outstanding quality as well. 1 lap is in the book, and the race leader is Fred Verviche, and he's already 1.6 seconds clear, largely because James Collado is having to think about defending from Marciello and from Matt Campbell, and there's another one off through the gravel.
It's one of the Lamborghinis.
It's a Barwell car, isn't it?
I think it is.
Dare I say Rob Collard?
I think you might be right.
Now, what has happened to Bentley number 3? Why is Rodrigo Baptista in 45th place? That car was pretty well placed on the grid, but clearly has had a drama early doors.
Well, we don't know. I mean, the obvious answer is he's picked up a puncture somewhere around the circuit, other than he's been off track, but we have not seen any reports or any images of that car not being there, being pushed back into the garage. So it's a technical issue for that Bentley. Disappointing for Tech Pack to have that car so early.
On board with Dennis Lind. So this is 63 Lamborghini. Dennis is way down in, can you believe it, 17th place. And part of the problem is this traffic jam ahead of him. He just can't find a way by. It's not the widest of circuits, but here's a place about to be gained. No, everyone slows. We've got a full course yellow potentially.
And
some are responding and others aren't.
Everybody coming down into Acqua Minerale, the Aston leading the group of cars into Acqua Minerale, hard on the brakes as the Lamborghini was lining up to try and make an overtake, and all of a sudden those behind realised what was happening and just managed to avoid tailgating the car directly ahead of them.
So full course yellow we have had, and this is the reason why. It is number 44 Mercedes, which is Christian Hook out of Pro-Am, who's made a right mess of the exit of Ravazza. He's made a right mess of the tyre barrier, and the Mercedes doesn't look too hot anymore, which is a shame because it's one of the smarter liveries, but that has made it to the pits. But it's the track furniture, if you like, the barriers that need repairing and making sure that the circuit is safe before we can get things back underway. Lights out on top of the safety car, and of course Fred Verviche now backs everybody up, gives himself enough clear track ahead so that when he accelerates, which he is doing now, he's away and gone, and he can keep on accelerating. He wants to try and get the jump on James Collado, but Raffaele Marciello wants to get past that Ferrari, and he wants to do it as soon as he can, which is when they break the beam.
Yes, indeed. So once they go across start-finish line, keep an eye on 3rd place Mercedes-Benz. Also Matt Campbell in the 4th place Porsche. If the story is true that Campbell and the Mercedes came into contact into Tamburello, would indicate that one of those 2 cars was not going to be a bit shy about sticking its nose down the inside to try and get a position. But Verviche has done the business, so has Collado. In fact, first 4, no change into Tamburello on the restart.
Out of Tamburello they come then, so Fred Verviche trying to build that gap once more as they wriggle their way through that left, right, left sequence. You can see how they've all bunched up. The field flows through down towards Tosanao, and Verviche is doing it again. Look, Collado is having to go defensive. He's got Marciello and Campbell queued up behind him. So, again, it means that this is all playing into the hands of Fred Verviche in that race-leading Audi. He does the first stint. Mathieu Drudi and Kim Louis Schramm, the 2 drivers that will divide the other 2/3 of the race between them.
Up the hill, looking backwards. You get to the top. Up the hill, there's a the crest flattens out, diving down. The Bentley, the second of the 2 Bentleys that is running competitively down the hill into Acqua Minerale. Again, everybody more or less being dictated their pace by the car directly ahead of them. The chance to overtake into Acqua Minerale, not great up the hill into Variante Alta. Remember, these GT3 cars are physically large cars. This is an old school circuit. Now Marciello gets alongside the Ferrari. 2 wheels almost on the grass. He's done the hard yards to get up alongside. He will have the higher ground coming down the hill into Ravazza. Collado's not going to give it up, and he's going to have to find the long way around. Matt Campbell in the Porsche directly behind. He's going to try and now use that opportunity to move up 1 more place.
Now we'll see who has got the heavy right foot, who has got the bravery going into Tamburello, because it's speed building all the time on this part of the circuit. Past the pits they come then. So Raffaele Marciello finally released from behind the Ferrari, and now he sets off in pursuit of Fred Verviche. The gap is 1.3 seconds. It's Collado 3rd in the Ferrari, Matt Campbell 4th in the Porsche. who does not think about dive-bombing the Ferrari going into Tamburello. 5th behind is Vazivier, 6th is Engelhardt. So James Collado, yes, loses the place, but at least he hangs on, keeping Matt Campbell at bay. But look, Marcello is escaping.
Yes, he was 1.3 seconds when he came across start-finish line, just having taken second place. Watch and see in one lap how much the gap is probably now down to just about a second. In fact, waiting to see at the next checkpoints where Marcello is, but certainly pulling away relatively comfortably from the Ferrari. The Ferrari now bunching up Matt Campbell, second to the Audis and the rest of the field.
So here the field now heading down towards Ravazza. Keep an eye to that leading Bentley as well. Jordan Pepper in 11th place. The Rover Porsche having a good scrap here. Dirk Werner with Dennis Lind alongside him. Dennis the Menace gets up the inside line, takes the place. That puts him 17th. Now you might think, wow, but actually that was a hard-won place.
Yeah, but that was a well-executed overtake. Dennis Lind got the run coming out of the very anti-alta, got alongside the Porsche before they got into the braking zone. Having achieved that, then there was nothing the Porsche could do. It had to sit it out, wait for the Lamborghini to take his line. Porsche coming back again now, coming into Tamburello. So this battle is by no means over. Waiting to see who comes out of the Tamburello ahead of one another. Or has the Lamborghini disappeared too? Maybe it's gone through. No, it's still ahead. So Porsche wasn't able. It looked threatening coming into Tamburello. There it is, the 63.
So Dennis Lind now sets off, does he not, in pursuit of Andrew Watson in the Garage 59 Aston Martin. Dirk Werner staying on his tail as well. Then you've got Maxi Buick in the yellow Mercedes next in that long line. And a Mercedes is in the gravel. And that's one of the ACA cars. It's 87, isn't it? The Jim Pla, Jean-Luc Bobelic, Fabien Barthez entry.
Again, down to Ravazza. It looks like he's been tagged. There it is. Oh, not tagged. It was well and truly clipped the right rear, and that spun the Mercedes around. Probably hadn't even got onto the brakes. You can see the right rear already was down. Car riding off the barriers and still continuing. The sand or the gravel here is relatively soft in spite of all the heavy rain that fell. Car comes to a standstill, so we'll no doubt go back to a full Courcello to get that. They're 74 also. Now, was that? We didn't see any reason for the 74 to be in the pits. It's being rotated on the dollies going back into the garage, which is a great disappointment. This is the most colourful car on the field.
Yes.
And personally, sad to see it go into the garage.
A second full course yellow period then is called for because of Jean-Luc Bobelic being off the road, and the teams were expecting quite a few of these. Well, they weren't fearing for no reason, were they? So after the contact, Jean-Luc Bobelic's car off the road, the quick, experienced French businessman racer. And there is another car off, and that's one of the CMR Bentleys. It's 107 of Petru Umberescu, Pierre-Alexandre Jean and Seb Morris. It was Umberescu that started. And how did he get there? Let us have a look.
Coming out of Tosa, so he's probably booted it. There we go. Was the contact? That's why the Mercedes and the Bentley. We didn't see that and that was a big hit on the right front of the Bentley.
Was it ever? But look at this. This is going to be a nightmare for some.
Yeah, and a lot of teams may well take the opportunity before the track goes green, come in and go off message, come in slightly more early than you'd anticipate. There they go. Here, the thundering herd enters the pit lane. That's the midfield thundering herd too.
Anybody want to stay on the circuit? Anybody want to gain track position for a lap? Leader, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. In they come. One or two have stayed out, if only because you're buying yourself clear space in the pit lane. So if it's going to be a long period like this, there they are. Buy yourself a lap. At least you're going to have a clear run in the pits. And number 3 Bentley is a lap down anyway. So the new race leader is the Gulf liveried Porsche, which is number 40, the Romain Dumas Louis Delatrans Thomas Preining entry.
Look at the congestion. I mean, it's one thing getting in, but how are you going to get out? Because the lock on these cars is restricted. You've got a big wheel and tire, so there's a limit on how good. Now, the Porsche 12, that was the Matt Campbell Porsche that was running directly behind James Collado. That's got rolling, so they've done a good job. That's going to put them back into a very strong position. Where's the Mercedes? There it is there. So it's just, so it's more or less status quo. In fact, the Audi that was running in 5th has gained a position ahead of the Porsche. So after Vivier handed that car over, who's taken over the Vivier Audi?
I'll check in a second when it breaks the timing beam on pit out, but it's going to be Kelvin van der Linde indeed who's behind the wheel of that. So these pit stops, fuel and tyres and driver change, that's what you're doing?
Is that the 72 Ferraris? A lot of cars have gained and a lot have lost.
Exactly. 72 Ferrari was nowhere really, so that has really gained on the stops. So where in all of this is the 66 Audi?
Well, currently it's Ferrari 1-2 from what I can see.
So the notional leader is number 40, which is Romain Dumas, but that's because it hasn't pitted. So now we need to find where 66 Audi is, and there it is. Now, what's gone wrong for the Attempto racing car? Because that has gone from the race lead to being way down the field. Let's find out why. Gemma Scott is with Fred Vervies right now.
Fred, you did a fantastic stint there. What happened in the pit stop? 14 seconds slower than it should have been.
Yeah, there was an issue. I mean, we had free pit lane. We came in first, so parking. Everybody was fearing because it's so crowded to park difficultly and probably lose time. Everything was perfect. Still, something went wrong. I'm not sure exactly what, and if I would know, we have to sort out. But I'm extremely disappointed. I mean, yeah.
We're about to go racing once more. Let's just count them across the line because it is going to be there. Nicholas Nielsen, who leads from his SMP Racing AF Corsa stablemate. Sergei Sorokin, Timo Bogoslavsky third. Louis Delatraz runs fourth then now in the Porsche after staying out a little bit longer before that stop. Fifth is Calvin van der Linde, sixth is Patrick Pilet's Porsche, then Dorian Boccolacci, Andy Suchek, Giacomo Altway and Vincent Abril. That is the top 10. Kim Louis Schramm, as you heard, after the dramas in that pit stop, was 20th. He's already gained a couple of places. He's 18th. And a challenge for fourth place. Calvin van der Linde gets up the inside of the Porsche, absolutely side by side through it, but the Porsche's got more get up and go coming out of the corner, and that means that Delatraz stays ahead of van der Linde. Pilet is next in the queue, but that was a really serious effort by Calvin van der Linde, and he's not given up yet.
No, the Audis look very strong. We saw that for the 66 coming back. Now look at van der Linde all over the back of the Porsche. Difference between these two cars is one's got flat 6 torque, the other's got V10 top end power.
So Calvin van der Linde, who has done many a mile in one of these Audi R8s, knows exactly what he's doing in these cars. Remember, Louis Delatraz making his series debut. He was always going to do some races this year. Plans have changed a little bit, but he's the SRO GT eSports champion. Brilliant on a sim. Now he's got to do it for real. And rather than think about winning, he's got to try and make that car as wide as possible as they drop downhill. Tony Batster up the inside line. Goes van der Linde. Job done on the inside.
2 thumbs up from me. That was well executed. That was a brave move. There was no indication Delatraz was going to yield ground. He forced the situation, judged it perfectly, didn't lock up, didn't run wide. That's what a professional racing driver should do.
In 10th place is number 4 Mercedes Vincent Abril. It was the one, that car that Maro Engel went through the gravel with at the start of the race. It is being given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision, and the car that was involved was number 60, the McLaren of Martin Kodrich, Lewis Williamson and Ben Barnicoat. So number 4 Mercedes, currently 10th. It's got a drive-through penalty. It will have to serve that next time around.
That is massive disappointment. There we go. Calvin van der Linde, again, strong into and out of, gets alongside the Mercedes. If he can maintain it as they go under the bridge, he'll be in the pound seat coming down in to first or the Ravatsas, Bogoslavsky, trying to get his nose ahead, but has to concede 2 outstanding passes from Calvin van der Linde at the same part of the racetrack.
He's done it, he's through, he's away, and he's gone. Calvin van der Linde then now moves up into 3rd place. Now this is why the Fred Vervies pit stop was slow. Let's try and get to the bottom of it.
I tell you what, the car is too far out of the pit lane for a start off. Can they get, the guy is actually working outside of his design, so they had to push the car into the pit lane to ensure that the engineers could work on it, because that line of IMOLA written in it would have been a technical fault. So they had to push the car in. That's where the 15 or so seconds was lost.
So up into 2nd, van der Linde. He's done it already. Look, caught Sorokin, passed him, waved him goodbye, and he is on a mission to catch up to Nicholas Nielsen. Now, in fairness, the 2 Ferrari drivers, good in their own right, but inexperienced relatively at this level of GT racing completely in the case of Sorokin, whereas Calvin van der Linde knows about an Audi and he knows all about GT3.
We watched this car in qualifying, or practice and qualifying, and one of the drivers, or the next driver in the car, will be Mirko Portalotti, the former Lamborghini star, and who looked pretty impressive in the Audi for the first time. through the practice and qualifying. So that's going to be a strong car when we get into the final 1 hour of this 3-hour event at Imola.
There are the leaders coming up towards the line. Is this the lap they're about to start, on which Kelvin van der Linde goes for the race lead? A second was the margin. They break the timing beam, and it's down to 0.274 of a second. And van der Linde is going to have a go. Is he coming into the Tamburello chicane? Yes, he is. Through he goes.
He did. He made the switch back. He was on the right-hand side of the track. Collado went to cover that, and van der Linde dived down the inside, dived into the apex of the entry into Tamburello and took the lead away. Wow, I'd love to see that one again, and again, and again.
This is some stint, is it not, from van der Linde? He is driving fabulously.
Beautiful driving, really, really aggressive, but just, you know, the perfect way to attack and overtake. No contact, and also he put the Ferrari, Nicholas Nielsen, into a situation. He made the Ferrari respond. Being able to do that, when you can do that in a race car, you know you've got control.
So Kelvin van der Linde hits the front, and he's getting away.
So watch
how he did it.
He goes to the right, Collado goes to the right to cover, then van der Linde switches back at the very last minute under brakes, goes down the inside. He's not Collado, it's Nicholas Nielsen. He's just out-psyched the Ferrari driver. I mean, that's beautiful to watch. I would do that every day of the week if I could.
More drive-throughs for more speeding. Nick Yellerly, Pro-Am class leader. Nicholas Nielsen, second place in the race. The 51 Ferrari speeding under full course yellow. Now, bear in mind, we've had a number of full course yellow periods, so I can't specify which one it is and therefore which driver. But even so.
It could have been James Collado, it could have been Nicholas Nielsen. So, drive-through penalty there, we see it for 51 Ferrari, and that's painful. Having done a great job, that car initially. Now, so with Nicholas Nielsen behind the wheel. As we now go back.
Now their look is 88 Mercedes, which is about to lose out to Patrick Pilet. Bogoslawski versus Pilet, who goes through. That was close. They almost run, but the Porsche has done it. Now can the Mercedes fight back? He's in the draft. The lights flashed at the back markers ahead as they go to Tamburello. The back markers get out of the way, and Patrick Pilet hangs on to the place.
And in a sense, the back markers played to the strength of Patrick Pilet, because Bogoslawski was clearly, I mean, actually, that overtake took place just midway down pit lane. I thought his swinging back might have clipped the back of the Porsche, managed to avoid that. So Pilet was maybe fortunate, and then on the run into Tamburello there was another car, back marker, which gave Pilet the opportunity to lock down the entry into Tamburello.
So 88 Mercedes climbs the hill, but Bogoslawski then down one spot. That puts him fifth, and now it'll be interesting to see, having been released, whether Patrick Pilet can chip away and get onto terms with those ahead. Let's ride with him in replay, John.
So on board, let's see what Patrick Pilet is going to do. As they run out of the very anti-alto, the Mercedes dancing around as it ran the curves on the outside. Pilet can't get any closer. Where am I going to go? Left? Am I going to go right? Nope, the Mercedes is not making it easy, but he gets down the inside side. So nothing he can be done. So it's the undercut. So the Mercedes is compromised. Back end goes one way, goes the other way. Bogoslawski is rattled by the pace of the Porsche. Now up the inside, makes the cut. Bogoslawski is going to cut back behind the Porsche, almost clipped the left rear. So good pass by Patrick Pilet. Pressure from the Porsche behind. Also the traffic directly ahead came into play. Now Bogoslawski was able to come back, but because of the traffic coming into the entry into Tamburello, Pilet was going to be safe on that entry. Down the inside this time, well, there it is. Can he get it done, Charles Ferch? He doesn't need to tag the Audi. He might compromise himself, or compromise. Well, the Porsche directly behind is going to be in a position also now to come up alongside Dorian Boccolacci, and that's maybe one position lost to Charles Ferch. Could be a second position lost to the Porsche.
Let's see, over the timing line there goes Delatraz. Suchek is behind him. Charles Wirtz then up into 7th place, and for 8th, Julian Andlar gets up on the inside line. Is that going to pay out for him? He's going to go through, is he? No, Boccolacci fends him off, so the Audi is just ahead, but he's running wide for the middle part of the Tamburello.
I bet you Boccolacci must be absolutely fuming with Charles Ferch. Why do you have to pass me? Now you've created a gap. We've both lost ground to the back of the garbage involved in this battle. So anyway,
But
that's motor racing, guys.
Well, it is, but Witz instantly, gets up onto the back pretty much of the traffic ahead. So Andy Soucek, who's attacking Delatraz perhaps more vigorously than ever, might be caught by Witz in a moment, but finally, because he's not having to defend too much, Soucek can attack, but he's on the outside line into Portalotti. Does he go through there? No, he doesn't, and here comes Sean Witz. Soucek is still attacking all the way around the outside. If he stands his ground, he'll have the inside for the Acqua Minerale. Fantastic! Andy Soucek has done it after about half an hour plus of trying.
And Charles Verts are very close. The Pennis goes way wide on the exit. Acqua Minerale. Charles Verts now also fancies a way of getting past the Porsche up the hill. What Soucek did was work that one corner of the Piratella all the way down into Acqua Minerale. Good driving yet again. Good racing between those two cars.
Absolutely. And there we have the stops starting to come. Both the Silver Cup leaders are in.
I'm going to say it's Porsche already, and so that's an early-ish stop for what would have been the leading Porsche.
And the leader is in as well. Look, Van der Linde to give way to Portalotti, and the stop is served, and they're away.
Yeah, a great stop by WRT. They got that car in, got it serviced, get it back out again, and he's gained massively.
WRT then leads the way. Mirko Portalotti out on track, clearing the race lead. Will identify second when the next round of stops has all been done, because the car behind the Bentley is a lap down, at least one lap down. But Portalotti storming on with 61 minutes of the race to go now.
Well, you've always got the thought of the commentator's curse, but when Mirko Portalotti made the move from Lamborghini to Audi, I don't know whether he imagined, there is the Ferrari rolling finally, but a long time in the pit lane, that he would be right now leading this race with just an hour to go. Whoa, that was that contact between the Lamborghini and was it the Porsche and the Lexus or not? As the Ferrari, the 72 Ferrari, just almost gets compromised with the Porsche bounced back on to the circuit.
Andrea Rizzoli in the Porsche, it was that went across the gravel. Now there, look, is Davide Rigon, who has lost the best part of a lap to Mirko Portalotti. Let's have a look at this incident again.
Yeah, there was contact. I thought there might have been just the right front and left rear. That could be a penalty, because that was an incident that would have been avoidable, and the stewards will look at it. Those are the kind of sort of small incidents that have big consequences.
Here is the battle for sixth position, Mercedes versus Bentley. With all due deference to Fabian Schiller, ex-Formula 3 racer, Alvaro Parent's CV speaks for itself in GT terms. You'd anticipate that Bentley to be up and past relatively soon.
Yep, but the Mercedes, great car. Schiller has he's had a couple of good performances last year. But as you point out, Alvaro Parent, GT3 written through him and looking to dive down the inside, but way far too back. But again, just plant the Bentley in the near side mirror of the Mercedes. Make Schiller start to look sideways, look backwards, not look forwards. Get into the driver's head. Make him uncomfortable. Beat him up. Be a bully. This is not about, everybody, as I say, gets a prize. It's a motor race.
Absolutely. And Fabian Schiller knows he's in one right now, because that car is going to have to be very wide indeed. Down towards Tamburello they come. Ahead of them, look, is Klaus Bachler in the Rover Porsche, the Rover Racing entry. So fifth, Bachler, sixth, Schiller, seventh, Parent. And behind them in eighth place, Christopher Haase, as Alvaro Parent has a look at the inside, trying to, all the while, distract Fabian Schiller, trying to force that error out of the Mercedes ahead.
Schiller's not reacted to it particularly, but Alvaro's maybe not really got down and dirty. And with 52 minutes remaining, still got plenty of time. There'll still be opportunities will arise. We've got to have back markers will come into play at some point. Wrong part of the racetrack for Schiller or wrong part of the racetrack for Parent. It can just change the dynamic right now in this battle that's going on between the Bentley and the Mercedes.
Down through the Acqua Minerale they come, and because Schiller is delaying Parent, not only is Bachler getting away, but Haase is getting closer, is he not, in the white and yellow Audi. The Santalot car there is almost on the back of the K-Pax Racing Bentley.
Yeah, for Christopher Haase, the easy job is catching. The trickier job is going to be, I've not just got to find a way past one car, I've got two cars that are in an inter-car battle. And look, Alvaro Parent again trying to use the pace down the hill. Oh, Alvaro, what are you doing? Unnecessary. It was never going to be a pass. It was inevitable there was going to be a collision. It was Schiller's corner, and you've just completely bleeped it up. Let's look again and see. Down the inside. No, well, there's no chance. I mean, actually, Parent couldn't slow the car down. He wasn't even anywhere near the car. It didn't have the capacity to slow down.
And Fabian Schiller did not deserve to be there. He did nothing wrong.
Absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever. It was almost a Parent pushing the brake, and the car isn't slowing down. The Mercedes was slowing down, as it was entitled to do, to enter the corner. Schiller was in the corner before the actual contact took place. There is the safety car lights out. Where is Mirko Portalotti? There he's coming. Come on, Mirko, get on the program. Give it one now before you get into the Ravazza. He's holding it all back. He's got the BMW, he's got the Bentley behind. Now he's off and running.
But look, Jaminet is absolutely stuck there for another possibly 20 seconds before he gets up to the line, because the BMW is not on its toes as much. In fairness, they're not slow, those two back markers. Jaminet is not losing as much as he could, so he's still in with a fighting chance. Let's see what the gap is then. 2.3 seconds under the safety car. Now they break the beam. Race conditions, actually it's 1.6, but he can't yet find a way past those two slower cars, and this is going to be the problem.
Yeah, but it's his own fault. He should have been stuck to the back of that Bentley, just literally on its bumper. He allowed the gap to open up sufficiently to mean that by the time he came across the line, he wasn't in a position to try and pass. Now he's going to try and force the situation, and no success. Every corner he's losing probably half a second at least. Now he's going to think about it, going down the inside into Tosa, up alongside the Porsche. Can he get the Bentley, get it done? No, he can't, and he's always in danger of being overtaken by those behind.
Bentley goes out wide. And now Mathieu Jaminet tries to get up the inside, but even though he's trying to lap that car, shows you the Bentley's pace up the hill. Right, Jaminet goes through. Whew, that's only a back marker. He's got to do it all over again now on the Porsche, just on the BMW rather, up the road, which is the Carimoge cars. It comes now down to Acqua Minerale, and all the while Portalotti rubbing his hands with glee, because look, he's disappeared, he's away, he's gone.
Absolutely, but Mathieu Jaminet can only blame himself for that, because he didn't react as he should have done. Can't even get alongside the BMW into the Mirko. Oh, be patient, Mathieu, because otherwise you're going to drive yourself into an issue and a problem. Oh, the BMW goes wide, but comes back on track, and that gives Jaminet. Now he's got the Bentley right on the rear, trying to maybe unlap itself. For what purpose? I have no idea.
Down the hill they come. Timo Boguslavski is on the attack as well. Sorry, Felipe Fraga, I should say, having taken over from Boguslavski, number 88, because he can sniff second place here with the Porsche being delayed. Fourth, you need to be looking for the Audi of Dries Vanthoor, which is somewhere in all of that traffic. But the leader is gone. And what was 1.6 seconds last time? Let's see. Look, Audi, fresh air, fresh air, fresh air, fresh air. Porsche, and the gap, 4.3 seconds it has gone to. We have a drive-through penalty for Alvaro Parent in number 9 of Bentley. He's dropped down the order anyway, but a drive-through penalty, and not unexpected. Carlton Carimoge loses it, all got a tag.
I think he's got a tag.
Yeah, he's not the only one in strife. Look, because we've had a spinning Aston Martin. Was that Valentin Asclo that has lost it? If it was, it's his Silver Cup lead possibly gone.
So we don't know who started that, but the consequence clearly was the BMW was spun round. But everybody was so close. I mean, it was inevitable there was going to be a contact or other. The back of the Barber Lamborghini is smoking now as well. Whether that's a tire up or something more serious.
That's how Asclo had his spin.
And that's the left front of the Lamborghini.
Yeah. This was from another angle. That was Carimoge having his moment with a bit of help. And as cars scatter, it's down to luck, isn't it?
It's just like a game of Skittles. I mean, literally, if you can get 10 in one bowl, you've done the best you can. I mean, you've got 2 out of 10 on that occasion. Look, Jaminet, no mistake this time, can't get any closer to the back of Portalotti than that. If he does, it's going to be a Dodgem car.
Right, the lights are out, the safety car has gone. Mirko Portalotti has got them all stacked up behind him. Mathieu Jaminet could barely be closer, and they could barely be slower.
This is Portalotti. Come on, Mirko, you're doing the right thing. When you get down just before the entrance into Ravazza 1, give it full bananas and off and running. And Jaminet, there he goes, he's off and running.
But Mathieu Jaminet trying to stay with him then. He's got to hustle the car, he's got to react, and he's got to hustle it through Ravazza, which he does. Felipe Fraga likewise now. Is Audi or Porsche quicker in a straight line, or indeed Mercedes? Because this is going to be key. We go racing with just under 12 minutes on the clock at Imola.
Fraga is the one I'm going to keep an eye on, because he knows that he's got an opportunity at the earliest opportunity to try and put the Mercedes into second place, but the gap, but it's the Bentley running behind, completely out of position. That's keeping pace, certainly once the race has gone back. And, well, Mirko thought maybe a little bit wide in the middle part of Tamburello, but nonetheless has opened up a gap. But Fraga is the man on the charge, closing down to the back of the Porsche into Villeneuve curves, almost on the back of the Porsche. Looks go up the inside into Tosa, covered off by Jaminet, goes to the long way. Can he make the undercut as he comes out of Tosa? Get up the inside of the Porsche, up the hill towards Variante Alta. No.
But this, for Portalotti, is the golden ticket, because a weaving Jaminet is having to go defensive, so Portalotti is just driving away in the distance. Jaminet having to be on his toes, and look behind, Dries Van Thor has got through the traffic. The fourth-placed Audi there is on a mission. If he gets up with Fraga, that might release Jaminet. So, Van Thor is a man to watch, Fraga is a man to watch, and Portalotti is disappearing in the lead. Number 72 Ferrari, I mentioned a little while ago, is being given a drive-through for blocking in the pit lane, but right now, defensive Fraga keeps Van Thor at bay, but only just. And look, as soon as Fraga goes defensive, away goes the Porsche.
Absolutely, so Fraga's now thinking about Van Thor. He knows that Van Thor has got more inherent pace, and Van Thor is just hovering around, waiting for an opportunity to arise, and it nearly came into Tamburello this time. That's why Fraga had to go defensive. That's why the gap between second and third opened fractionally.
They turn out of Tosa then. Mathieu Jaminet in this rather elasticated second, third, fourth situation, stretching the margin over Fraga, who now has to defend from Dries Van Thor. To the checkered flag comes Mirko Portalotti. He's going to be a win for Audi in the first GT World Challenge Europe race of 2020. Mirko Portalotti, Kelvin van der Linde and Mathieu Vazivière take honours at Imola. Audi beats Porsche, beats Mercedes. Second, Mathieu Jaminet across the line. Felipe Fraga takes third. Dries Van Thor fourth. And there, Christopher Harcher chases them home in fifth. Sixth, wait for the Rover Porsche to come into view. There it is. Klaus Bachler comes across the line. Great stuff from start to finish. Yes, we had the interruptions, but some fantastic racing, which we rather expected. This, the result, 86 laps of drama and a win for Kelvin van der Linde, Mirko Portalotti and Mathieu Vazivière, ahead of Matt Campbell, Patrick Pilet and Mathieu Jaminet, Raffaele Marciello, Timur Boguslavski and Felipe Fraga third. Then it was Dries Van Thor, Christopher Mies and Charles Weir, ahead of Marcus Winkelhock, Dorian Boccolacci and Christopher Hauser, with Dirk Werner's Porsche, the one he shares with Julian Andlauer and Klaus Bachler in sixth. Kelvin van der Linde, Mirko Portalotti and Mathieu Vazivière are our winners at Imola, and Gemma Scott is with them.
Boys, that was an incredible race. Well done to all of you. I think it's fair to say WRT are back. This is going to be a season you're going to be fighting. Mirko, you controlled everything on the release of that safety car so incredibly well in your stint.
Yeah, honestly, no words. It's fantastic to start with Audi like this, to win the first race together with WRT in this championship and with this car. At home, so it's crazy, really. I have no words. It has to sink in a little bit. Huge thank you to my teammates. They did a fantastic job. Mathieu the first stint and Kelvin, what a drive. I mean, the team did an amazing job as well with strategy and everything. The car was perfect. Perfect day. That's about it. Thank you.
It certainly was. And Kelvin, that middle stint that you drove was very, very strong.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you have to have a car that allows you to follow well, and the team gave me a perfect car today. I think the guys in the stewards didn't want us to cruise home, so there were a lot of full course yellows and so on. So, it kept it interesting, kept us on our toes. The team had to do the strategy and really time it to perfection. So, yeah, just thanks to these boys and obviously to the crew for a great car.
Absolutely. Imagine this is the first time all three of you have actually competed together as a trio now. This shows that you're going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout this season.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed my first race with them. They really helped me a lot to discover the car, the Audi, and the team as well, and the track. So it was really good and really helpful. And then we are winning together. So it's really a nice day, and yeah, we will enjoy it.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, under the way that we must operate podiums, the drivers are asked to go and collect their trophies, and then they stand in front of the photo board. So Mirko Portalotti, Kelvin van der Linde and Mathieu Vazivière step forward as the race winners, and the check for a season-long entrant goes to the WRT crew. They get their winners' trophies and they step forward. And masks on, pose for the cameras. So 3 very happy drivers indeed. Mirko Portalotti in the middle, Kelvin van der Linde maintaining his successful association with Audi. Brother Sheldon drives for BMW, you'll recall. And Mathieu Vazivière, welcome to the Audi stable as well, as they celebrate overall honours here at Imola. Great racing from Imola, from John Watson, Gemma Scott and David Addison. It's goodbye.